Trough. What is up, my pigs?
Okay, so that's what we're going with.
Yeah, welcome to Slop
pigs.
Trough. This
Hello,
is
everyone.
the home of garbage and all things reality TV. This is episode 1. I'm Pat,
And I'm Nat.
and we are talking about things.
Things meaning reality TV.
Yeah.
Trash TV, as some might call it.
Mm-hmm. And we love the trash.
We do.
We didn't always love the trash.
I've kind of always loved the trash, and that's actually a great segue into what I wanted to open up the show with, which was it doesn't really count as an icebreaker, I think, because we're married, so the ice was broken
Yeah.
quite a while ago. But for lack of a better word, an icebreaker to get us started.
Mm-hmm.
So my question was, what was your first reality TV show that you remember watching?
Well, I was watching VH1 when they were doing music videos and starting to do reality TV. So there was like the
Flavor of Love?
the Joe Schmo show, Flavor of Love, Bret Michaels' Heart of Love. Then there was reality TV, like The Real World on MTV, and I think Joe Millionaire was a thing. Do you remember Joe Millionaire?
I
It was a
never heard of
guy that they made people think was a millionaire, and at the end of the show, it was revealed that he was just like a deli worker.
Interesting.
It was really funny. It was when reality TV was at the beginning. They're like, we can possibly damage people's psyche a little bit.
Oh, and here we are today.
Well, what were your favorite TV shows that you started with?
So I've kind of always loved reality TV. Like I've just always been like fascinated by other people's lives and thought processes and why they do the things they do. But I was trying to remember earlier today what my like very first one was, and I don't really know. But I did realize I've been a TLC watcher for a long time. Like Toddlers and Tiaras days.
Oh yeah.
Or
Honey Boo Boo.
I think I know the
Honey
first
Boo Boo.
one. I think I know the first one actually. It wasn't Toddlers and Tiaras. It was John and Kate plus 8. Which that family today, yikes.
Well, let's break down what
They're
people are
not
going to
okay.
expect from our show. Because, A, if you've been a part of Gaggle of Geeks, you know that this is completely different from everything that we do. And B, if you've checked out, like, Nat Pat podcast and the stuff that we were doing at the beginning, this is also different. We're basically doing this whenever we feel like it's right or we feel up to it. But this isn't a regularly scheduled thing. And really, the goal of this is just to air out our grievances about episodes,
Yes.
and yeah, it's really not meant for anything else other than to air out grievances and have and we don't even know how long these episodes will go. We've not talked
It might
much
be 20
about
minutes. It might be 2 hours. Who's to say?
I think it depends on the content. Like, for instance, we were talking a lot about 90 Day the Single Life and all the stuff going on there, and for instance, I'm not going to be able to give a lot of context to a lot of shows. Like, if anything, you're going to be more of the leader of this show than me, because I'm going to need to know names of people. I will be getting every couple's name wrong. I will be saying things that will be inappropriate, which is why there's a parental advisory. Explicit
And why this
lyrics.
show is called the Slop Trough. This is not high quality podcast.
We're garbage people
entertainment
talking
people.
about garbage content.
Yes, we know what we're about. We know who we are. And Patrick will be interspersing pig snorts throughout the show. Apparently, we didn't discuss that, but
Yeah,
I'm
well,
gonna
there's
roll
all.
with it.
We'll roll with it.
I'm gonna roll with it.
Well, what's the first thing that we're talking about today?
So that actually leads us, what we just talked about kind of leads me into the second point I wanted to talk about, which is basically, if you are a reality TV lover, this is a safe space for you. Like,
Oh no, we're already talking about safe spaces.
yes, we are. No, I don't
It's
want
like 5 minutes in.
No, I'm just joking. I mean, it is, but like,
It's not safe for Big Ed.
it's
you
oof,
fucking asshole.
oof, we're not talking. I don't want to call
Also,
him.
we're
Big
allowed
Ed.
to
I want
swear,
call
right?
him- Yes.
We're not
obviously.
having. Look, if family watches this, then they know exactly how crazy our binge watching can be. But really,
That sounds like a them problem.
we are talking about Ed, right?
We are going to address that.
Okay,
yes.
good. Fuck
But
you,
before that, I
Ed.
just wanted to
Don't
say.
ever go to this show ever. He'll give us crap, and then we'll be like, "Oh yeah, you got a problem with that?"
Okay,
Kick him.
we're not interviewing Big Ed.
I hate him.
Case
He's the
closed
only
on that.
person that I know the name. Well, many people I know the names of, but
Yeah.
they'll probably be the wrong people, and we'll have a half-hour discussion about the wrong person, and then you'll be like, "Wait, who are you talking about?" And I go, "Andre and Libby."
Yeah.
Like, no, that's Brandon.
I think that's part of the beauty of this is that it's going to be like
you go from novice to expert, and really there's no like shame in either knowing too much or not knowing enough. Like it's really for everybody.
Exactly. And that's the point that I was trying to make is that like I don't like talking about reality shows as like my guilty pleasure shows or things like that, cuz like yes, it's trash TV, like I'm not debating that fact, but also like I'm not ashamed of this. I'm not ashamed to be who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And neither should you.
You should get a little closer to the mic.
Oh, am I being too quiet?
Well, normally you have a quieter voice normally to me.
That's fair.
So I feel like I probably am already talking louder.
Okay.
And then Chaz and I do the same thing, but the opposite on Gaggle of Geeks, where he's talking louder and I'm quieter.
Really?
I just haven't gotten mic levels right for stuff.
I feel like as a viewer or as a listener, I feel like you guys are usually pretty equal. But that's...
Should we mention where we are exactly, too? So this is also the first time that you've been on video doing podcasts. We've done one Nat Pat podcast, I think, that was on video.
We did lives, though. We did, like, Facebook lives.
Did we do Facebook lives for Nat Pat?
Yeah, because we would always dance at the beginning, remember?
Oh, I suppose we
would
did.
play the music and we would dance.
Yeah, okay. I remember. Did we have a YouTube channel?
I think it was just posted on your Patrick Beatty Reviews
gotcha.
YouTube channel. It was all just under that umbrella.
Huh. Wow, that was a long time ago.
It was.
But anyway, where are we? We are in the junkyard right now.
Obviously.
Or we're in an office. Or we're in a bathroom. I'm grease screening all of these while we're talking.
Oh, okay.
Where are we at now?
A boat in the ocean.
We're in Michael's bedroom. We're in Angela's surgery room.
Oh, no.
Well, I have to green screen all of these things now.
Yeah, you're just making your job so much harder.
We're in the room where Andre is destroying fridges and stuff.
We're everywhere and nowhere. We can be wherever you want us to be.
So that's actually the point. If you want to have stuff featured behind us, this is just a big wall of green. Any suggestions, ideas on what you want to see with the show?
I don't.
Out of reason, too. I'm willing to go far with this. We could go places.
Okay, but what if someone is like, I want a close-up of a, like, animal's butt?
Well, let me ask you this. Are they a Patreon to our Gaggle of Geeks? Because if they are a Patreon, they might be able to make such requests. So if they do like the show and they want to see what else we've got going on, they can do it. But that's enough plug. Let's get into the meat of this. What are we talking about first?
Okay, so I first want to touch on, because this show just wrapped, like a week or so ago. Mm-hmm. So it's 90 Day Fiancé, The Single Life, and it's on Discovery Plus, so you have to subscribe and pay for it. But honestly, I feel like it's worth it.
How much is Discovery Plus?
Is worth it. I believe it's $5 a month with ads.
And you can pay without ads too, right?
$7 a month without ads.
That's where they get you.
Of the streaming services, that's probably the cheapest.
And they do have lots of content, to be fair.
Because it's all Discovery content, all Lifetime content, like the Lifetime network.
Soon
Discovery
to be integrated
Channel.
with HBO and Warner Brother content because of the acquisition happening.
What's the channel called? Like, I think
Oxygen?
it's like National Geographic. I think like that's on there. So there's a ton of stuff. Like, there's a lot of documentaries and
all the paranormal stuff, the Meth Queen. There's so many. That's another thing. Recommend to us some shows that you think that we might like.
Absolutely. So that being said, like, yes, it's kind of a pain to have to sign up for another streaming service. I totally get that. But I feel like this one's worth it. Even if you just get it just long enough to binge, you should binge watch The Single Life, and then you should go binge watch Pig Royalty, because Pig Royalty is incredible.
Yeah.
But we won't talk about that today because you haven't watched it. But there's a lot of that noise in there. But anyway, so The Single Life basically is following, there's 8 people, I believe 7.
Oh, you have it written down. Okay.
Oh, only 6. I'm stupid.
So I'll read them off. We have Ed and Liz. There's Molly and Kelly. Ed and Liz, you know Big Ed and you know Rose. You know that story if you watched. Was it before the 90 days that he was on?
Before the 90 days.
Molly and Kelly, I believe, she was with Buddha guy.
Molly was
you
originally
do not believe
with
in God, no
Luis
Buddha. Yes.
From the Dominican Republic.
Which we'll talk about that shit. But Molly and Kelly, Fernanda and Robbie and Noelle. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because she had 2. So Fernanda is doing her thing.
We're gonna spoil this show for you.
Colt is doing his thing. Danielle is doing her thing, and Brittany is doing her thing. So
yes.
they all have kind of like their own little. it's me, I'm new, and it's a glow up shot for every
Exactly.
introduction, and it's covering what they're doing after whatever.
So
thing.
basically, their original 90-day fiance relationship failed, and so they are trying again. And it's kind of misleading to call it a single life, I feel like, because most of them are already partnered up when the show begins, or they partner up on episode 1. But for
Or
lack
some
of a
already
better,
planned, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
Colt and Vanessa's
They've
were
been
already set
together.
up for a while. Yep.
Yeah, so anyway, I wrote all of these couples down so that we didn't forget to talk about anyone. But should we just knock the big, gross, nasty out of the way?
The breaking news with Ed?
Yeah.
Okay,
Should we
so
just start
let's talk
that?
with Ed and Liz. So basically the stories are starting with Ed going after this waitress, and again, he has just this shady disposition to him. It seems like if you offer him a piece of gum, he might ask you on a date if you're a woman.
Basically, he gives the vibe of any woman who shows any type of just general politeness
Here, hon,
is
sneeze.
a chew.
Want to go on a date? it's basically that.
I feel like it would be the opposite. I feel like if he sneezed and someone and I said oh bless you, he'd be like,
I'm already
do you
blessed.
Like me? Do you love me?
I'm already blessed.
Yeah, he's just got that vibe about him, and he's not a good person.
Yeah, he's a jerk.
And I feel
that's why I feel no guilt in making fun of him in any way, because the guy
Exactly.
is
He's a monster.
horrible to people. But the breaking news with this is this girl that he spends this whole time with, and we'll probably get into details in other episodes about some of the scenarios as they come out more. But he basically was manipulative. He was being narcissistic. He kept saying that I love you and being like, oh, I'm gonna break up with you at any minute. Tons of scenarios like
Moving
that.
super fast in their relationship too. They've been dating for 2 months, and he's like, "You light up my world. Would you like to move in?"
Yeah.
Just gross
And
stuff.
the tell-all revealed that he was even more of a douche. And then after the tell-all, on the 90-day subreddit, which I'm sure if anybody watches this, they're probably on the subreddit and doing stuff like that.
If not, you should be. It's pretty entertaining.
It's a pretty narrow market, so you should be checking that stuff out. But they show a recording, and I didn't listen to it, so you tell me what exactly happened on it.
So I listened to the first part of it.
I read
and
the subtitles.
It's really hard to listen to, honestly. If you, especially because I've never been in a relationship like that, and it was hard for me to listen to. So if you have been in something like that, I can't even imagine how hard it would be to try and hear that replayed back. But he's essentially saying so she had to ask him permission, which already this shouldn't be a thing, but she was asking his permission to drive someone home from work.
Yeah, a producer or a camera person.
And he freaked the fuck out and was just saying over and over again fuck
You're so
you're
stupid.
fucking stupid, you're fucked up in the head.
You
just
didn't ask me about this.
horrible-
And she's like, I did ask you. And she's like,
Yeah.
well, you're dumb. And
Yeah, just horrible things that you don't say to anyone. You don't talk to
especially
anybody
someone that
that
you
way.
like.
Someone that you're dating, that you were supposedly in love with,
Yeah.
especially. You know?
If jealous bone in your body as far as taking somebody home, driving someone home, it's insane.
Yeah.
And that's what tells you that this guy's got just the worst little man syndrome.
He's not
and
someone...
he thinks that he's just what kind of person is I'm in therapy, I hate myself, while he sips a mug with his face on it.
Well, yeah, exactly. And somebody made a good point.
There's a pathos there that's kind of ridiculous.
Someone made a good point on another show too, where they were basically saying where they reminded everyone during the tell-all, kind of in between takes, he's talking to her, and he basically says and he says to her why didn't you just tell me to fuck off when I first was talking to you on that first date? And it's you're blaming the whole awful relationship on her not turning you down, when we know that if she had turned him down, he would have spent the whole time talking about what a bitch she is.
Yeah.
And so it's just there's no winning with this person. I people like him, I don't think they should be on TV. He shouldn't be getting a platform to be funny and kind of make people think that he's, because I think at the beginning of this show, a lot of people started to kind of feel bad for him, and they were kind of oh, he's misunderstood, and he's been,
a guy puts mayonnaise in
You
his hair,
know-
you don't immediately want to start mocking him, but something's up.
and then but then as the show goes on, it's just no, he's a monster, and then as this phone call footage comes out, it's just yeah, he's not a good dude. There's really nothing redeeming.
And there's a lot of
about
there's a lot
him.
of things with that with 90 Day. Look, we love this show, but at the same time, they bring in these people
TLC
where
does not vet their
And they don't vet
people
because
at
they
all.
know it'd be much more difficult for them to do their job. And
Yes.
honestly, people are good at hiding shit. You know, you
But are
can't
they, though?
completely
Some of these
rely.
people, like,
Well, first there's the law in California, I believe, that I was talking to you about when we were talking about Olivia Munn with Predator, where they actually they don't have to do background checks of people that they bring in.
oh, I see. Oh, I remember
Like
that.
that's
I
not a
remember you talking
requirement
about
in
that.
California for actors. So I don't know if that's different when it's a reality TV, if it's a different like thing with that. But I can tell you this much: when I did the interview for that great Swedish whatever, they didn't look into anything,
Yeah.
and I was about to the point where they were going to accept me and put me on. So
Yeah.
maybe when that came, it would have happened. But
Sure.
I don't want to blame them completely because like Paul's crazy and like when you see him on the surface, he seems pretty like
Harmless.
yeah. But then the rap records
he's
comes
a
out. How many times
monster.
does a camera person find out about the rap sheet while it's happening and like the
Yeah.
camera shakes a little like what?
I think, well, my point is just that, like, because we see this with the 90-day subreddit, is like if random keyboard warriors at home can like dig up someone's
And they are
records,
the true heroes on the subreddit.
like, how hard would it be for an assistant at TLC to do a quick Google search on these people before they bring them on? Like,
Well,
that's my
it's
point.
not
And
a
I don't
quick
know
Google
where the
search.
line
They have to
is
do a
either.
background
I
check.
know,
They have
I
to
know.
do an actual
I
background
know
check.
it's harder than that.
And
but
it's something that they need to do moving forward. Or at least when they do, they need to at least make recommendations on how they can prove that they've recovered from whatever the issue is, whether it be mandatory therapy before,
yeah, like, what have you...
mandatory receipts that you have been working on it, or court records if
yeah.
you're an arsonist, for example, showing that you no longer want to set
That you
things
no
on
longer
fire.
burn down buildings.
Or that you won't run away from when your
Yeah.
lady's getting macheted or trying to get macheted. Oh,
There's just some of
that
these
sucks.
people, because I think there's one thing, like, I'm not saying that everyone needs to have like a pristine record. Like, everyone has a past, but there's a difference between like having a past and being like Jeffrey from a few seasons ago, who has like multiple domestic violence, like open charges against him. You know, like there are levels there.
Yeah, that's true.
But
well, let's move to Molly and Kelly because these guys are actually
this is a
pretty
little
easy
bit
to
lighter.
go through.
We went,
There's a couple that are easy to get
we
through
went
with
in
this.
we went in deep and heavy.
Well,
with
because
this.
it's the most current, so we needed
It
to cover
is.
it first. But there's just like a lot of ickiness to.
Sure. I wanted to just
Yeah.
cut through it right away.
But Molly and Kelly. So Molly, first of all, she's really been consistently enjoyable for me, whether it be on her Pillow Talk stuff. I like watching
She's
her on
fine
that.
on Pillow Talk.
Or just like her progression, because she's never really been like a horrible person or rude or
No.
mean to any of the people like Luis or even with Kelly. But Kelly, I think, is what has made the couple like probably the power couple of 90 Day right now. Mm-hmm. They're probably up there on like
Yeah,
and they're not really committed to much yet. They have weird ideas about commitment actually,
for sure.
especially about having babies and how they can get the baby.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that first. So
Yeah. So essentially, Molly and Kelly are dating throughout the course of this show, and I'm trying to think. I think they're both in like their mid 40s. I want to say, and they have a discussion honestly, I think pretty like late in the process. Like, they're talking about moving in together, and it's like, by the way, I want kids, and then she has to kind of be like, oh, I can't have kids because I've had my tubes tied. And so then that broaches the question of like, well, would you be willing, like, can we have kids in other ways? And he brings up like surrogacy. She brings up on the tell-all paying someone to have sex with Kelly and get pregnant and have a baby.
yeah, having well, it wasn't just like we have this idea. She like directly looked at camera and said, "If anyone you know is interested
I bet they're
in
getting
him,
DMs.
you want to do that, you can call us at 801." And she started giving the phone number.
That was a good Molly impression.
That's what you guys are going to be getting on the show.
Patrick's a very good
I will work very
impressionist.
hard on getting the impressions right. However, I will try very hard not to do any offensive ones. It might.
Sometimes
You're
it's
not
hard.
going to get Jihoon. I don't think. I'm not going to be doing Jihoon.
Yeah, some of them it's maybe best just
I'll get
to
slapped
not,
in
but-
house with a Jihoon one.
Sometimes
but
it's
a
best to just
Suelu,
not.
lying bitch, might work. You know.
Yeah, well,
We'll get to that. We didn't. You don't have on the thing the regular 90 Day. Or
I
Happily
didn't
Ever
write
After.
them down, but we should talk about them. I should have written
Or
those
or it
down.
could be a tease for another episode if people like this.
Mm-hmm.
Next week we can talk because this is over. Like by next week, we
we're
can
basically
jump
just
into the other stuff.
recapping this show because I really do think it's worth. Like honestly, this show is better than the current season of 90 Day that's on right now. So honestly, if you're gonna pick one, like this might be a better one.
Not only that, you're
watch.
making Discovery Plus like us a little more, and TLC, because we're not plugging. We ain't plugging your free shit.
I did just
we're
shit
plugging,
on TLC for like 5 minutes.
We're not plugging your free shit. We're plugging your premium content, man. Your PC. Yes. That got into an awkward silence. Let's do. Yeah. So we don't have headsets on, so you're not going to be able to hear sound effects and things if we end up going to sound effects.
Oh.
So that's going to be later on. So many abilities with this podcast. There are so many things.
I didn't even
We
know
might
you could
have
do
multiple cameras later. We may have guests in the bed with us talking about stuff, which could be really fun.
Have like 5 people in the bed.
That would be really funny, to be honest. Hey, it's a Purple mattress. I mean, Purple sponsor us. 90 Day Fiancé, you know? Let's talk about anything else with, the tell-all, obviously.
I want to talk about Kelly really quick on the tell-all because Kelly was one of the best parts of the tell-all.
His face reactions.
Because honestly, I think he's too sane for the show. Like, that's my only critique is, like, I think he's too, like, normal and together. And so he was just reacting to all these people.
I don't know.
Like,
well, because even he was looking at Molly when she was pitching the thing.
Like, we didn't talk about this.
Yeah. But let's talk about Luis showing up out of nowhere. That's the big thing. So Luis is there, and we can talk about first how insane he was. One of the funniest, most memorable parts of us watching 90 Day Fiancé for me was when Luis out of nowhere just was like, "Why don't you believe in God?
There is no God in this house.
Why is there no Buddha? No nothing." And she's like, "Are you insane?" Like her face, it was everybody watching this. Like, yeah, this is crazy. I don't know what to even talk about with this guy. And then him just blasting music and stuff. That stuff looked insane to me. That looked so toxic. And then this guy is sitting there with his like half asleep face, looking at the camera like, "I'm going to find the truth and tell you the truth." And he just doesn't say shit. He just walks in and he goes, "I'm here." And that's it. And then everybody's like, "Why are you here?" And he goes, "Because I'm here."
Yeah.
What's your problem, man? And he's like, "What is your problem?" And he's like, Colt's like, "Get out of here." Yeah. And Colt with his stupid Billy Goat mustache and beard trying to act like he's the most intelligent person in this group of morons. Aside from the people we like, of course. You know?
Yeah.
Who's all of them? We like them all. But they're all morons.
I was going to say something about Luis. Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure TLC was like, "We'll give you a $50 Amazon gift card if you show up
I think he got paid for it. And a part of me wants to distance myself for knowing that kind of stuff. But every time I get a little tidbit of behind the scenes, it's like,
I personally like the behind the scenes stuff. Like,
it can be fun, but sometimes it can be like, so that relationship was pretty manufactured.
Well, but there are times when, and there are some very highly manufactured relationships on 90 Day. But, like, there are definitely times where it's like, I kind of wish that I could just, like, watch this for the shit show that it is and not... No, but then, like, the stuff, like, about, like, Ed comes out and it's like, yeah, I'm glad I know that so that I'm not, like, sympathizing with someone who's actually a total monster.
But we all did at the start. And you can't really blame yourself for it. You got to blame...
editing and production and Ed himself.
Yep. Ugh. Well, let's see. Fernanda, she had just like kind of glow up through the whole thing, and I don't think she ended up being in a relationship at the end.
Well, she was with. So we start with Fernanda, who was originally married to someone named Jonathan.
Was it season 2?
Ago. I think it was maybe like 4. It was like 4 or 5 because it was when Larissa and Colt were on too.
Oh, okay.
But basically, they got divorced like 6 months after they got married, and so she's now single. She's like 22, and she's living in Chicago, and she's dating someone named Robbie, and
Robbie seems like a douche. He seems like the guy that would usually be on his Bluetooth unless you like pulled the Bluetooth off of him.
For sure.
Which we could talk about Bluetooth boy.
Oof.
Also.
Oof. Yep.
Michael is monster.
Michael is monster.
Michael is monster.
Michael is monster. Anyway, so they don't go like. I don't know. I don't have a ton to say about Fernanda because I think she's a fairly, like, normal, functional human, it seems. Mm. But anyway, so she ends up moving. She starts out in Chicago, but then she ends up moving to Miami.
Just realized we had the fan on this whole time.
And is that going to be a problem?
I'm going to turn the fan off. Keep going.
Okay. So anyway, she relocates to Miami and then she moves in with someone named Noel, who is her roommate, and then they eventually start dating. So, and he's on the tell-all for a second, and they're just like, yeah, we like each other, blah, blah, blah. But, like I said, That's our thumbnail.
Welcome.
But like I said, there's not a ton of drama with them, so... Do you have any final thoughts about Fernanda? She's very pretty. She's beautiful to look at.
Yeah, Ed was a creep to her at the tell-all immediately. He was like, you got a
like,
friend.
so
I want to
hire a
hook up with your friend.
roommate for me.
And she also kind of has a jealous streak that it
Yes,
seemed
she does.
that's been kind of a thread. But you can't tell if it's edited that way or
And
not.
she's also 22.
And the exes
so-
will always kind of be like, yeah, well, a little bit. But, yeah, she's kind of boring. I don't know.
Because
Anybody
it's like I said,
anybody
she's
that's like
fairly,
too beautiful and has their life together,
she's
it's like,
fairly like functional and normal.
get to the mush.
So there's not a ton to say.
But we can talk about Colt and Vanessa.
We could do an entire podcast just about Colt and Vanessa, I think.
But would you want to? What would you call it? The unseen bikini?
No, thank you.
The bikini
no,
that's on the flub
no, thank
covers all. I don't know.
No, we will never subject you to an entire podcast just about Colt.
But Colt and Vanessa, they first had to clear up their conscience and talk to his ex about the fact that they cheated while they were together. Mm-hmm. And the ex, what I call her Tweety Bird. I'm very sorry. What's her name?
You're not the only one. Jess is the ex.
Jess. And then who's psychopath Jared Leto?
Oh, I thought
the boyfriend.
You said psychopath, and I automatically thought Larissa. But no, Jess is married to Brian.
Okay, so Brian has the most dead eyes I've ever seen in my life. And he likes to talk like this whenever he's talking to people, you fucking idiot.
He doesn't
like
blink
that's how he
either.
talks to people. And he's
I just blinked and
hey Debbie, why don't you shut up or I'll cut your wrists? Like he just like will say, and then he like has this smile like that guy's crazy. He looks like he could have been part of the Manson family back in the day.
Definitely got a body in his backyard.
Yeah, quite a bit. But anyway, they talk to him and Tweety Bird, figure out get mad at each other. It's manufactured drama for
Absolutely. Sure. TLC was like, we'll give you each a $50 gift card if you show up.
But then Colt's arc is just kind of like being a self-aware wolf and then dealing with the fact that he can't be trusted anymore. Mm-hmm. That's basically his arc.
Mm-hmm. Which, we talked about this briefly last night, but I never really heard your thought process on it. Colt seems to have no problem attracting women.
Yeah, and I don't get that.
I don't get it because, this isn't an appearance thing. Like, there are plenty of, like, not conventionally attractive people in the world who can attract other people still. But, like, he doesn't have a nice personality. He's not funny. He is maybe smart, kind of, but, like...
I think he's, first,
he's
he can
like a
provide.
Software developer.
He can provide, right? So he can provide for...
I guess, but, like, he also lives with his mom.
Yeah, but that's by choice, not because financially he can't without her.
I know. But even then, like, that takes away
So there must
from...
be a lot of financial stability, maybe. I don't know.
But also, I don't even know if that's true.
Some people just kind of like the fake pseudo-masculinity. And his masculinity is kind of different. Like, it's not like the pumped iron, but it's the intellectual superiority that I think a lot of people sometimes can get fooled by and be like, oh, he is smart because he's like using the big words and pushing his glasses up when really he's just probably manipulating you to sleep with you or something, or read a lot of books of one paragraph and has been repeating it.
Yeah, I don't know. He's just one of those people that I just like, and it's just like...
Do you think that he's redeemed?
Wow.
Do you think that his arc is, oh, great, now we're happy with him?
I wouldn't go that far, because he is still, like, he was very uncool to Jess, and in a lot of ways uncool to Larissa, although Larissa is pretty difficult.
Yeah, the damn on.
I think, like, there were a lot of things with her where it's like, they didn't stand a chance from the beginning, for many reasons. But, so I wouldn't say he's redeemed, but hopefully we don't have to see him anymore, because he's married now. Spoiler alert, again. He's married to Vanessa. So, I mean, I guess they could show up on Happily Ever After, though. That could be a thing.
I don't know. But Tweety Bird, she's still right. He liar.
He lies. He trash man.
He trash man. He lies.
Those things are all still correct.
He trash man. Yep. But that's theirs. Danielle is interesting with this arc because, like, you really wanted to hate her but turns out she probably ended up having probably
think she had
the
probably-
best glow up of the whole thing.
I think she probably had the best experience on this show out of anyone.
Best cathartic experience, I guess. Her and Muhammad buried the hatchet and not in each other's backs, and they were really coming to terms with the shitty things that he did that he'd never admitted to. She kind of got a posse, like a group of people.
I think they're a murder cult. I think they were trying to like sacrifice her.
It could be, or they could have just been really big fans on the subreddit that showed up. But here's the thing: if you want to be on TV, but you're intentionally trying to make things right for this person, do it.
Yeah, I guess that's a better.
It's like, yeah, why not?
In the end, it seems like they were fair. It does seem like they were fairly harmless in the beginning. At the end.
At the beginning, I was trepidatious because it seemed like they were like, let's get her involved with all of these boyfriends and stuff that might not work. And just, I don't know. Me personally, I wouldn't like somebody assuming what I would be interested in, especially if I didn't know these people very well. But first, props to her for going along with the experience. She did not seem to go along with a lot of stuff with Muhammad. Like there wasn't a lot of like give and take. So that there showed progression with her. 2, seeing that Muhammad was willing to come and talk to her and that they could have conversations again that weren't crazy. And that even after like them kind of repairing it, he was still willing to apologize again after her coming back with more because she probably couldn't process it the first time or had to be reminded by people. The whole thing ended up being pretty positive.
Yeah, like at the end of this, and she even ends up like dating someone who seems like a pretty decent.
He doesn't seem too bad.
Seems to be like
hatchet
that's the
throwing
key word.
is fun, you know. We've done hatchet throwing, so it was nice to see that there's a little bit of progression. Maybe Muhammad can get something like let's get him out of the truck.
Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with being a truck driver.
Yeah, let's get him out of the truck. You know, get him a nice hotel.
That's fair.
Let's get him a lady, you know?
That's fair.
I'd be interested to see what his intro scene would it just be a truck pulling in like really slowly and like fireworks on the side. That's Muhammad.
Who's to say? But no, I do want to say too about Danielle. As far as the tell-all goes, I think she had the best performance on the tell-all because she like. I feel like she's become a little bit more self-aware too, and she was like, I'm gonna just like sit here and listen, and I'm gonna jump in when I feel it's appropriate, but I'm not gonna scream, I'm not gonna throw anything, I'm not gonna freak out, and so like she ended up walking away like, you look pretty normal.
And now we can look back at her original stuff and look at it fondly. Because now it's not like, she's just never gonna change. We could be like, man, she went from 1 to 1 and good for her. That shit's hilarious. And that's why we love 90 Day. We didn't tell them how we started 90 Day.
No.
We started this during quarantine when we had nothing else to do. That's the answer,
Essentially.
Much like most of you who found 90 Day, I'm assuming, during quarantine.
And here's the thing with 90 Day. Once you start, you're in. Like, because there's the original 90 Day Fiancé. There's 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 days. There's 90 Day the other way. There's 90 Day Happily Ever After.
If you're nuts.
There's the Family Chantel. There's 90 Day the Single Life.
There's the fucking twins.
There's Darcy and Stacy.
Yeah.
There's
Darcy. Man,
I feel like I'm missing ones. Like there's so
90 Days
much.
Gone so far past Darcy now, it's insane.
Yeah, like she's I don't know if they're going to have another season of their show or not. I didn't watch Darcy and Stacy, so I don't know what it's
90 Day don't give me the cheap stuff. It's like when you get an Avengers movie and then they're like, here's Ant-Man 3. Yeah. Can you give me Avengers 4 and let's move on?
Yeah.
Like let's get everyone into this.
For sure.
But except for Brittany, because Brittany was probably the biggest annoyance of everybody. Luis was like a quick trigger, but Brittany was the one that bugged everybody consistently through the entire show.
Yeah.
She didn't show up, first of all.
To the tell-all. She didn't show up to the tell-all.
The entire segments of her were just kind of just going through the motions and being like a diva.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's like... It's hard, I think, to, like, I don't know, this is what it seems like to me, at least. Obviously, I don't know what she, like, wants and doesn't want, but it seems like she wants a lot of, like, understanding and sympathy and, like, grace from people, but, like, she doesn't give it. Like, she's really quick to be like, well, why didn't you, you know, like, well, you ghosted me or whatever. Like, she's really quick to, like, turn on other people. And she also just, like, doesn't really give anything. And so it's hard to sympathize with her or...
She's in this group of self-help people where they take it to a degree of hurting other people, where it's like, I need self help. I need my hair done in Texas because it can't be done, and you have to take care of yourself. Like she kind of has that attitude.
There is that
about
attitude
things.
a little bit,
And I'm not saying that you can't. Like, you need to take care of yourself, and you need to be able to have boundaries and know when things aren't working for you or aren't appropriate. But Brittany has brought it to the point of, like, she is a popular Instagram influencer, or even higher up than that. Like, she's Ellen DeGeneres, even.
Well,
like,
there's
it's crazy. I don't even think Ellen would be that annoyed if her hairstylist wasn't able to come with her.
I think, well, I don't know. I think you're onto something with Brittany, and I don't think she's the only one who has this attitude. I think a lot of people in the 90-day world and the reality TV world have this, and just the world probably, where, yeah, there's absolutely, like, you need to take care of yourself, like, do whatever you need to do to feel good, like, etc. But, like, if your self-care gets in the way of, like, everyone else in the world being able to do their thing, like,
and everybody was waiting
bit
there.
much.
So, like, at a certain point, they get Brittany's ex-boyfriend, which already awkward to call her, because nobody knows what's happened. Now she's on FaceTime talking with who's the
Sean
lady?
Robinson.
With Sean Robinson about why she's not there, and you just see everybody being like, "She's the worst. This is the worst person ever." That's about all for her. Like, there's not really.
She's kind of the worst, and I'm really surprised that
Ostrich.
she was even back on the show to begin with, because at the end of, so she was, her first season of 90 Day Anything was on The Other Way. And at the end of the season, she wrote this, like, awful Instagram post where she was like, TLC's terrible, the cast is terrible, the crew's terrible. Like, she shit on everyone. And so I was really surprised that they brought her back for another season. And I really, like, here's the thing, like, I think she could have the potential to be, like, an entertaining person on the show, but she is, like, so quick to shut down and just be like, no, I'm not doing that. Where it's just kind of like, you signed up to be on this show.
Yeah. Yeah, she just kind of seems too cool for school.
Yeah.
And if I were in the rest of the group, I would kind of hate her too.
Yeah.
I'd be like, we're all participating in this because we signed up for this.
Exactly.
And the fact that, like, she wants to be the next Family Chantel or something. Like, she wants her own show.
Yeah, I think she
if
probably
someone were to say, you can have your own show, all of this stuff, then she'd be cool. But because she has to share it with other couples. And I think the only reason she did Single Life was because she thought that it would be her own thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
This bitch is selfish.
That's fair. No, I think you're absolutely right that she wanted to try to use TLC as, like, a jumping off point for something else. And that's, like, again, like, a lot of people do that too. Like, no shade. Like, a lot of people have other ventures that they're working on, and they use, like, they go on a reality show as their jumping off point. But she doesn't really seem to actually have anything
nothing good to
going
say.
on.
Like, she's never interesting to me. I don't care what she's up to. I really don't. I was more interesting when it would cut to the interpreter during Pillow Talk.
The interpreter is a gem of a human. He runs a kitten rescue
in
Jordan. He, like, owns and operates a kitten rescue.
That's cool. That's cool.
So that's the Single Life. We kind of spoiled everything, but it's still fun to watch. Like,
it was a recap.
I think it's worth watching still.
Definitely check it out. You have this thing that says game.
I do have this thing that says game, and I just realized that the game is on my phone.
Oh no.
And my phone is downstairs.
Oh no.
So...
Well, where are we at time? Because it might be where we go. We're at. Oh wow, we've actually gone for a little over a half hour now.
Nice.
So where do you want to go? Do you want to end it here? Do you want to do the game?
I would like to do the game. If
all right,
you will allow
run
me
down and grab the game, and we will cut back.
Downstairs
and we're back, and we're gonna be doing a game a game.
I created this game.
A 90-day game.
So we know it's gonna probably be boring and not work the way I envisioned it in my mind.
Fuck? That's not where we were going. No, I want to play the game.
Okay, so it's more of a. So it's sort of a would you rather type situation. Okay. But I realized as I was writing these, I didn't actually do all of them in the traditional would you rather fashion. Like, I don't think I understood the purpose of the game originally.
But you made the game.
But either way, I made the game. When's anyone else ever made a game for one of your podcasts?
What is life? Ooh, was that a Chaz blast? Did you just put him on blast? If he watches this, you just put Chaz on blast.
Chaz isn't going to watch this because Chaz thinks he's too good for reality TV.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Well...
You know, when I said I don't feel guilty for watching reality TV, that was also a subtle dig at Chaz.
We don't feel fucking guilty about it.
It means get off your film school high horse.
Okay, so would you rather?
Okay. I'll stop berating Chaz. All right. Would you rather view every piece of media on Cult OnlyFans, or rub Nair on Ed's back with your bare hands?
Can I blink when I watch Colt stuff? Like I can close my eyes? Or do they have to pry my eyes open like a Clockwork Orange?
You just have to watch it the way you would watch any other.
Is it on loop? Do I have to watch it all?
No, just like one time
So this
through.
Isn't a torture thing.
Just a once through.
Say that, or what else?
Or rub Nair on Ed's back with your bare hands.
Well, I mean, if it's just one time, I'd do the one that would take the least amount of time. So Ed's back.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't want to sit there, go through Colt's shit and just click and click. The act of clicking on him every time would make me want to hurt myself.
Okay, fair enough.
But Ed's, close your eyes, feel like you're touching a Brillo pad. You're good.
Oh, I'd pick the OnlyFans.
All right. You see, there's a little more 4D experience with Ed.
Oh no.
You can feel like you're at like an aquarium feeling the coral and stuff.
Oh my god.
I'm so sorry.
I didn't realize that we were going to go to this level, which I probably should have realized. But real quick, have you ever smelled Nair?
I don't know what Nair is.
It smells disgusting. So it's like a cream that you put on to get rid of your hair. Mm-hmm. And it smells disgusting.
Like a dumpster? Or like
not like a dumpster.
Armpit?
No, it's like really chemical-y.
Okay.
It's got like a really strong chemical
like bleach?
smell. Sort of. Not that bad, but it's gross.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah. Nair the hair.
Okay, fair enough. From whom would you rather receive a foot massage? Mother Debbie, which is Colt's mother, for anyone who doesn't know, or Danielle? Receive the foot massage.
Well, first of all, can I tell you what I think Danielle's massage would be like?
Yes.
You want me to rub your feet? Okay. I'm rubbing the ball. Oh no. That's why I would not pick her.
Okay.
Because at least there'd be some quiet on the other side.
Fair enough.
What would you go with?
Fair enough.
If I heard giggling while someone was rubbing my feet,
I'd probably pick Mother Debbie as well. She's an older person. She's probably rubbed a lot of feet in her day.
I bet she's got a lot of pressure she could put in.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, she could put some...
She probably rubs Colt's feet every night.
That too.
She's already used to it.
That too. Someone had to take those OnlyFans
No one's going to hear Debbie's accent and Debbie's impression yet. That's saved. My Debbie impression is saved because it's not anywhere close to what it is. It's not what she actually sounds like, but it's messed up.
All right. Mm-hmm. All right. Speaking of Mother Debbie, I've got another would you rather.
Another mother.
Her. To whom would you rather give a foot massage?
Jesus, honey. God.
Mother Debbie or Danielle?
Danielle, because then it would stop quick. She'd be like, it's too much. And then, I don't know.
Fair enough.
Or maybe she'd like it, and then it'd be like an hour long of giggling.
She's a nurse, by the way. She's in nursing school, so
I don't
she's
want to
on
touch
her
Debbie
feet all day.
Wait, Danielle is?
Danielle is in school to be a nurse.
Give me Debbie's feet. I was about to say Debbie's feet would be grosser, but yeah.
Like, so she's on her feet all
why
day.
would you do that to me? That's so gross. What would you pick?
Probably Mother Debbie.
Okay. Why are we calling her Mother Debbie? Is there a brother Debbie somewhere or a sister Debbie?
Know. It's just what people say.
Mother Debbie.
Yeah, it's just what people say.
Okay. Fair enough.
It probably is a reference to Family Chantel, honestly. But
because there's another Debbie.
No, because like they say the Family Chantel, and that's like a play on Pedro saying like rather than saying Chantel's family, he says the Family Chantel because like I'm assuming because like your English to Spanish translation. But and so they say like the Mother Chantel, the Father Chantel, the blah 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 blah. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so that's why I say it. But I probably shouldn't because I actually hate the Family Chantel.
Yeah,
we don't need to go there. Next question, and this is probably, well, I think I know the answer to this one, but I am curious. Mm-hmm. Who would you rather debate? Topic of your choice, whatever you want to debate.
Okay.
On Gaggle of Geeks. So you're bringing this person on the show and having a debate with them.
Okay.
Brittany
No.
or Fernanda?
Fernanda. Oh, I'd put Fernanda on
Okay.
any day of the week.
She'd probably get you a lot more views.
Brittany would be in for a second. I'd remove her and
probably
block her
wouldn't show
out.
up.
I know. She'd show up like halfway through, and I'd be furious. That'd be the worst.
Yeah.
Fernanda would show up on time. She'd be cool.
She was late to her personal training session on the first episode of the show, though, but it was like 5 minutes, not like 5 hours.
That's true.
So, cool.
Now I'm giving myself a foot rub. Now that we're talking about it, it's like,
I noticed that.
This feels kind of nice.
Okay. I wanted to try to include as many as people as possible, so that's why I used them in the question. I forgot I wrote this one.
Oh, no, what?
Okay. Would you rather... I'm sorry. Would you rather...
Oh, no.
paddle a canoe with Ed or ride a tandem bicycle with Danielle?
Okay. That seems mean. I don't know why, but
it probably is.
I could tip Ed in the canoe, and I know how to flip it back, so I'll be good.
Nice.
Yep. So there you go.
He deserves to be flipped.
Yeah.
Into the water.
And he's so low to the ground, it's tough to do.
Yeah,
so get him in wavery waters.
Shoved in a lake.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, last question. Who would you rather have on your team in a life or death game of volleyball?
Okay.
Like, if you don't win this game, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Molly?
Who's Molly?
Molly of
Molly. Oh, yeah,
Kelly.
yeah. See, that's what I told you.
The one that you were just like, she's one of my favorites.
Exactly. We're not getting... It's right on the paper, too. I looked down right after I said it.
Okay, so you can either pick Molly...
For dodgeball?
Volleyball.
Oh, okay.
Life or...
Dodgeball should be pretty great,
life
right?
or death game of volleyball.
I think dodgeball should be great.
Molly or Colt? Who's your teammate?
For volleyball? Mm-hmm. Colt.
Even after you saw him do his, like, grapevine shuffles?
Yeah, I don't think... Well... Can we know what their high school history was like? Because maybe Molly did volleyball.
I mean, I don't have
They called her Molly Ball.
I don't have access to that information.
I don't know. Who would be the better teammate, I guess, is the question, right? And in that case, I might go Molly.
I think that's
Colt
a good choice.
Could try to take the spotlight. He might be... When I was on the mission and there was like kids playing, like missionaries playing basketball, there was always some douche that was like hogging the ball, was terrible at the sport.
And was like trying to coach
was
everyone.
Horrible at the sport and would never pass the ball. I feel like that's Colt.
I could see that. I could see him being
he
like...
paddles with... He dribbles
volleyball.
with his back behind his hand like
You don't
Stanley.
dribble in volleyball.
Yeah. Oh, I know, exactly. The whole thing would be a mess.
Okay, well, that is the end of my game.
Oh, well, that's the end of the show, too. I hope everybody had a good time watching.
Yes, I hope so, too.
My piggies.
Our piggy... Are they our piggies?
What's up, my pigs? Piggies?
Pigs.
Pigolettas? We'll keep having all kinds of different names for it. Our sloppies.
We could call them... So on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, one of the women refers to another woman as a slut pig. You could be our slut pigs.
Slut pigs. I had one, but then I Urban Dictionary'd it because I recognized what truffle hunters mean, and we shouldn't be calling our guests truffle hunters.
What's a truffle hunter?
It's basically a term for a gay guy going after someone's truffles.
Oh, that's kind of offensive.
Yeah.
We shouldn't go there.
But the more you know.
The more you know.
That was a surprise, but I was like, Slop Trough. You know? But no.
That's not Urban Dictionary Slop Trough. I'm sure that's code for something awful.
Probably. But we'd like recommendations of what awful things you'd like us to talk about. So whether it's Love After Lockup, Real Housewives, you have all kinds of stuff that you're watching without me too. So
I watch a lot of TLC shows. So if you want to talk about like Seeking Sister Wife or actually Marrying Millions isn't on TLC. It's on Lifetime, but I've been watching that. That is a fun one, and it's fairly... Because I actually wrote recommendations for us to give recommendations to the people.
Oh.
But also I did want to ask for them as well.
Nice.
So that is as far as like a recommendation to watch. Marrying Millions, there's only 2 seasons and they're like 12 episodes a piece, so it's not a super long time commitment. And it's basically, as the name suggests, it's rich people dating and potentially marrying not rich people. So it's pretty entertaining, and it's pretty like like there are some moments that are kind of icky because there's like old men dating like women who are 20 years younger than them, but it's also not like as unsettling as some of the reality shows that we watch.
Yeah.
So it's a
Well, I'll
good one.
stick with Single Life. This was really a great episode to start off, to recommend people to get Discovery Plus and take a look at this. And also, we will start talking about Happily Ever After, whatever next episode, whenever we decide to do that.
Yes.
And yeah, where can people send recommendations to you and follow you?
I guess if you want to follow me on Instagram, my handle's just at Natalie Tongrit, THONGRIT. That's my full name. I post never, but you can send me like a DM if you want something that you want to be something covered, and we could potentially talk about it, unless it's stupid.
Whoa.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I don't know what it could be. Like,
you better
I honestly
watch what you send her, because
I
she could just
honestly
send
don't
back
know.
a clap. It's like, this is stupid.
I honestly don't even know what like the bottom. Like we already watched Love After Lockup. Like I don't know what the bottom of the barrel would be.
I'm gonna be excited to cover that soon.
But
and
yeah, it's
how
coming
you
back
want
this
this to
month.
go? Like, we'll come up with segments. Like, I think this was a good first episode. I'd like to continue doing this. What about you?
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, check out Gaggle of Geeks on Instagram and everything on PatrickBeattyReviews.com. And that is it. We don't have an ending for this, so
We just like look at the camera and
slop, get it, slop you in the face.